of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining the Bhakti Sangha conference call today. Let us move on to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all have joined the call this morning?
Hare Krishna Bhattaji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Arvind Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvind Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to the assembled devotees. Krishnamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Srimati Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Padma Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Kamadiki Dasi from Baltimore. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj and all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kamadiki Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Padma Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to assembled devotee. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna, Mohili Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. This is Radharani Devi Dasi from Baltimore. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radharani Mataji. Thank you. Dandavat Pranam, Mataji. Hare. Thank you for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji. Yeah, please go ahead, Mataji. Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. This is Radha from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Radha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to the assembled devotees on the call. This is Anita from Georgia. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Shama Gauri Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shamagori Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Nice to see you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, same Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Nice treatise, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Darshan. Is there anybody else who would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna, this is Preeti from Texas. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Padma Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hey Krishna Padma Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devi Dasi from Lincoln.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Once again, welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are fortunate to have His Grace Pavaneshwar Das Prabhu. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are fortunate to have His Grace Pavaneshwar Das Prabhuji for enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5 on the cosmology. This is session 5. Call Prabhu on the call yet.
Prabhuji is not on the call yet, Mataji. We can wait a little bit. Maybe we can chat.
Yeah, we can chat. If anybody would like to introduce, please introduce yourself, Matajis. If not, you can chat. Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Rama Hare 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Rama Hare Hare Krishna Rama Hare Krishna Rama Hare Krishna Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Rama Hare Krishna Rama Hare Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Today we are fortunate to have His Grace speaker, His Grace Pavaneshwar Das Prabhuji to enlighten on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam 5th Canto and it's on the topic of cosmology. Hare Krishna Prabhu, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you Prabhu for joining the call and please take over the call Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Please take over the call.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरद्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees for our Bhagavata Cosmology series of presentations. So, during our yesterday's presentation, we kind of referring to the book compiled by Srila Vajraja Tirtha known as BhugolaVarnanam. We briefly saw that Bhu-mandala has three divisions known as circular earth, Andatamas and Ganodaka, which are similar to those which are described in Bhagavatam as Loka-varsha, Loka mountain and Aloka-varsha. So then we saw that Bhagavatam says the hellish planetary systems are located below Patala and just above Garbhodaka ocean. And in BhugolaVarnanam, they say that the third region, which is known as Aloka in the Bhagavatam, which they call it as Ganodaka, is non-different from Garbhodaka ocean. So this Ganodaka is supposed to be located below hellish planetary systems and also below Shesha, who is holding the entire Bhu-mandala so that Bhu-mandala does not sink into Garbhodaka ocean. So keeping that in mind, they say that Bhu-mandala cannot be flat like a 1 rupee coin. It is supposed to be in terrace type of structure. So that those details give us an idea that so this Ganodaka, whichever portion is there, which is supposed to be part of this, and then the mountain and the Bhu-mandala are supposed to be like this. So they are supposed to be going gradually downward. So this is Loka-varsha area or circular region, circular earth region, and this is region of Andatamas or Loka mountain, and this is Ganodaka or Aloka-varsha. So like that. So then it says that to the top of Mount Meru, to the base of Pushkara-dwipa, it is about 2 lakh yojanas, something like that. Some additional details are mentioned. But finally, it is supposed to be like this. The Loka mountain is actually stemming from Garbhodaka ocean. The Garbhodaka ocean itself transforming itself into ice and extends much above than its usual surface, and it becomes like a circular mountain. So that mountain is this. This is known as Loka mountain, and the other side of the mountain is all solid icy surface. That's why it is called as Ganodaka, and hence the Bhu-mandala ends here. This is the whole Bhu-mandala about which we are talking about. But according to Bhagavatam, when you see from the top, everything appears to be like a surface, so which is also part of Bhu-mandala, like that is mentioned. So this is Loka-varsha, this is Loka mountain, and this is Aloka-varsha. Because from the top, when you see, it is all a solid surface, so it is as good as some land surface, etc., etc. But when you come in the front and see, you will understand what exactly it is. So these are the few additional details which we can find from BhugolaVarnanam. And then there is a query yesterday that there are 8 elephants below holding the entire Bhu-mandala, then what is the need of the 4 elephants above? So I added them, but exactly the picture may not suggest exactly. So this is the region of Anatamas. This is where the most sinful people are thrown from the top of the mountain. They'll fall into Garbhodaka ocean, which is ice in all directions. And they were put into this icy kind of structure where they'll go through intense misery. So then we have the 4 elephants in 4 directions like this. So this side 1 elephant, this side 1 elephant, and towards our side 1 elephant, and behind 1 more elephant. So the elephant, out of 4 legs, 2 legs will be on the Bhu-mandala and other 2 legs will be on the mountain. The mountain may not go steep exactly like this, but mountain may gradually go like this. So if you see, the diagram is not to the scale exactly. From here to the beginning of mountain is 41.1, and the mountain itself is 82.2. The width itself is 82.2. So it is not, we have shown this is bigger and this is smaller because this is what we are discussing. So it is only indicative, but the mountain will go like this slowly. There is a ramp. So elephant can stand here. So 2 legs here and 2 legs on the Bhu-mandala, 2 legs here and 2 legs on the Bhu-mandala. Like that in 4 directions, the elephant will be keeping the Bhu-mandala under proper balance so that the Bhu-mandala does not go out of balance and tilt over, something like that. And we also saw that there is moon orbit somewhere here and sun here. And from the surface of the Bhu-mandala to the moon, to the site, this entire region is called as Bhuvarloka. This whatever you see, this triangular structure, this is all Bhuloka. And from the surface of Bhu-mandala to this line, this entire region is Bhuvarloka. From this line to this line, that is pole star, this entire region is Swargaloka. Of course, we will discuss more details about all these places in the future presentations. And we saw that this entire Bhu-mandala looks like this. In the middle, it is going upward, and gradually as you go outward, it is reducing. This is called what was that? Something was mentioned. So this is how the Bhu-mandala look like. Not exactly flat. So it is like kind of temple gopuram or umbrella type terrace structure. So in this terrace structure, we have this Loka mountain. Now this Loka mountain is actually a mountain made up of ice. And the sun, moon, and everything is inside only. So the light of the sun, moon, everything is spread inside this mountain. And it cannot penetrate to this mountain and go outside. And we also saw that in Sringeri Mutt, they have this Mahameru Stupa. On this yantra only the Sharada Devi deity is installed by Srila Shankaracharya. And this particular stupa is being worshipped once in a while. This is representing the Bhu-mandala, the structure of the Bhu-mandala. So like that is like kind of small recap of yesterday's class. And we'll continue with further details of the BhugolaVarnanam. Then it talks about Jambudipa. Jambudipa looks like a basket, inverted basket. Basket is like this when you put it inverted upside down. So this is how Jambudipa looks like. And there is no sunlight in Bharata-varsha. Bharata-varsha is surrounded by 4 huge mountains. Each mountain is about 10,000 yojanas in 4 directions. So because of that, there will be no sunlight within Bharata-varsha. And Jambudipa is a vast land containing 9 varshas, and with golden Meru at its center in the middle of Bharata-varsha. And it is 1 lakh yojanas in diameter. The total width of Jambudipa is 1 lakh yojanas. And here we see the picture of the entire Jambudipa. In the Bhagavatam, we saw the picture of Jambudipa in one way. In BhugolaVarnanam, we see the picture of Jambudipa little different. This inside portion is Bharata-varsha, which is surrounded by 4 mountains. In the Bhagavatam, we had mountains like this, 1 mountain like this, and 1 mountain like this, and 2 adjoining mountains. And this was like square shaped in the middle, but here a little different. And the upper 2 mountains are like this, and lower 2 mountains are like this. And there are 2 additional mountains in the right side, also in the left side. These are different mountains within Bharata-varsha. These are the names of those respect to 9 varshas, the names of those respect to 9 mountains. So there is a small distinction when we compare with Bhagavatam, the image of Jambudipa in BhugolaVarnanam. And now, in Bharata-varsha, we had eight mountains surrounding Mount Meru, two in each direction. Here 2 mountains, here 2 mountains, 2 mountains, 2 mountains. And we also saw that Bhagavatam says that each and every varsha is of 9,000 yojanas. So we also saw that this is 9,000, 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 this is 9,000. Even Bharata-varsha also from Mount Meru to the adjacent mountain, this is 9,000, this is 9,000, this is 9,000, this is 9,000. But this varsha was about 31,000. This varsha is also about 31,000. So these two are not matching. So they say that actually there are 2 more mountains in Bhadrashva-varsha and in Ketumala-varsha. Their names are Jatara, Devakuta. And whichever these 2 mountains are also named with the same Jatara and Devakuta. With the same names, there are 2 more mountains within Bhadrashva-varsha, Jatara and Devakuta. And the width of these 2 mountains is also 2,000 yojanas each. So total it was 31,000. So 2 plus 2, 4. 31 minus 4, it is 27. 27 by 3, 9. So this is 9,000 and this is 9,000 and this is 9,000. Like that there are individual divisions of 9,000 each. Similarly, these 2 mountains were known as Pavana Pariyartha in Bharata-varsha. With the same names, there are 2 more mountains here, here one, here one. So because of which this is 9,000, this is 9,000, this is 9,000. The reason is they say that Lord's creation should be so wonderful to look at. In the Bhagavatam picture was similar, symmetrical in both the directions. So from here to here, top to bottom it is symmetry, right to left it is symmetry. But they say that it is actually symmetric in all 4 directions. Whatever way it is here, the same way it is here, same way it is here, same way it is here. Equal number of mountains, equal way the land is distributed. So this is the perfect creation of the Supreme Lord. This is the wonderful and beautiful creation of the Supreme Lord. That's how they glorify and they talk about. Of course, they are not imagining some mountains. There is a description about these mountains in Vayu Purana and Vishnu Purana. Bhagavatam, though it does not talk about all these mountains, but the other Puranas actually talk about these mountains. BhugolaVarnanam is not adding something which is not there in the Puranas. It is just simply talking about which is not there in the Bhagavatam. So it's like that. And in addition to these 4 mountains here and here 2 mountains are there. These 2 names are Trishringa and Makara. With the same names within the Shrungavan mountain on both the sides. Here Trishringa, this section of the mountain is known as Trishringa. This section of the mountain is known as Makara. Same way, here 2 mountains, Kailasha and Karavira, which belongs to one of the 11 Rudras. Unknowingly, if somebody enters into this area, they will become female. That was the order or instruction put by Lord Shiva for Mother Uma's concern. So then, with the same 2 names, there is one section of mountain here in the Himalayas. This portion of the mountain is known as Karavira, and this portion of the mountain is known as Kailasha. Just like in this Kailasha, there is one Rudra. Here in this Kailasha also there is another Rudra, who is known as Lord Shiva, the husband of Mother Parvati. So Lord Shiva, Parvati, and along with all their attendants, their children, Ganesha and Kartikeya, they all reside here. The entire family of Lord Shiva, they actually reside here in Kailas. And in addition to Lord Shiva's abode, there is one town called as Alakapuri. That is where Kuvera and many of his associates known as Yakshas, they all reside in Alakapuri. That is very next to this place. So Kailash and also Alakapuri, they are located in the Himalaya mountain in the right side. So it is like that. This is the picture of the Bhagavatam, which is symmetric in both the directions, but BhugolaVarnanam picture is symmetric in all the 4 directions. And they say that when Bhagavatam says that all the varshas are supposed to be 9,000 yojanas wide, how can Ketumala and Bhadrasha does not fulfill that, they also need to fulfill that. If something is said in Bhagavatam, that should be true in all cases. And then referring to various other Puranas, they say that two additional mountains are there, and this fulfills the condition of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So like that. Some further details. Jambudipa is basket-like in shape. It is circular. As you see from the top, it is circular. Samavartulo yata pushkara patram. It has an altitude of 1 lakh yojanas. The height of Jambudipa is 1 lakh yojanas, indicating the height of Mount Meru. And Sun, whose orbit is situated at 93 million miles away from our globe. Our globe indicates Bharata-khanda. From Bharata-khanda, the orbit of Sun is located at a distance of 93 million miles. Similarly, the orbit of Moon is located at a distance of 0.25 million miles from our globe. That means 2.5 lakh million miles. Their orbits, the orbit of Sun and Moon, are almost in line with the equator of our Bharata-khanda. And then Rahu's orbit is located 10,000 yojanas below the orbit of Sun and inside the orbit of Moon. So if this is the orbit of the if Mount Meru is here, Bharata-khanda is here, if this is the orbit of Moon, this is the orbit of Sun, then Rahu's orbit is smaller than that of Moon. So orbital radius of Rahu much lesser than 0.25 million miles. It is very close to Bharata-khanda in that way. So Bhagavatam talks about the concept as Udagayana, Dakshinayana and Vishodayana. That means Uttarayana, Dakshinayana and Vishodayana. In order for these three supposed to be explained, the Bhu-mandala cannot be flat like 1 rupee coin. Instead, it is supposed to be gradually decreasing. Because the total width of the Bhu-mandala is about 50 million yojanas. It cannot be flat. If it is flat, we can never explain the concept of Uttarayana, Dakshinayana and Vishodayana. Only it is like this, we can explain the concept of Uttarayana, Dakshinayana. So now some examples are shown why and how we can explain the concept of Uttarayana, Dakshinayana. So this is the Earth, our Bharata-khanda. Here is the line of equator. In line with the line of equator, here is the orbit of Moon and here is the orbit of Sun. So as Sun goes upward, it is called Uttarayana. As Sun goes downward, it is called Dakshinayana. Since Bhu-mandala is like this, Sun can go sometimes below the line of equator and sometimes it can go above the line of equator. So if the Bhu-mandala is flat, Sun is always situated above Bhu-mandala only. Because Bhagavatam says, later on we study that the Sun is located at a height of 1 lakh yojanas from the surface of the Bhu-mandala. So here, Pushkara-dvipa, where Manasutra mountain is there, with respect to Manasutra mountain, Sun is at a height of 1 lakh yojanas. But with respect to Manasutra mountain, the Jambudipa is also at a height of 1 lakh yojanas. So that the Sun is in line with the equator of Earth globe. If the entire Bhu-mandala is flat, then Sun will be always 1 lakh yojanas above Earth globe. Because Bharata-khanda's height is 1000 yojanas only. So there will be no concept of Dakshinayana. Sun can never go below line of equator. So since Bhu-mandala is like this, Sun can go below the line of equator also. That can explain the concept of Dakshinayana. See, here is the Bhu-mandala. If Bhu-mandala is completely flat, wherever the Sun may be, it can give light to the entire area. Because since it is a flat, and light will be there everywhere. Just like in this room here, if I start one light also, there is light everywhere. It may not be so bright, but there is some light. So, but since Bhu-mandala is like this, and Earth globe is here, and this is the orbit of Sun, when Sun is here, this part of the Earth globe as well as this part of the Bhu-mandala will be dark. When Sun is here, this part of the Bhu-mandala will be dark. Because the Bhu-mandala is inclined, the sunlight cannot penetrate through the Earth, so this side will be dark. The same Sun, as he rotates every day in a circular fashion clockwise direction, when he comes here, so this front side Bhu-mandala will be bright, the back side Bhu-mandala will be dark. When he goes to the left hand side Bhu-mandala will be bright, and right hand side Bhu-mandala will be dark. And when he goes behind, that side Bhu-mandala will be bright, and this side Bhu-mandala will be completely dark. So like that, since Bhu-mandala is like this structure, so the day and night can be possible. If the entire Bhu-mandala is flat like this, a flat disk, so wherever the sun may be, it will be brightness everywhere. Because sun is not an ordinary person. He can give light to a far distant also. Not that if sun is here, only this portion will be bright. If sun is here, only this portion will be bright. No, that will not be bright. Nothing like that. It may not be so bright, but there will be some light. So that cannot be avoided. But because Bhu-mandala is like this, at any given point of time, half the Bhu-mandala is bright and other half will be dark, as we see in this picture. So this is how the day and night happens all over Bhu-mandala, because the Bhu-mandala having the shape of terrace type of structure. So now little bit details about Bharata-varsha. And within Bharata-varsha, we were discussing till now, there are 9 divisions, the 9 Dvipas, the 9 islands. This is the picture from Vedic Cosmos picture. So this is the Jambudipa according to BhugolaVarnanam. And in Bharata-varsha, these are the 9 divisions. And this is the 9th division, which is known as Bharata-khanda. 9th division, known as Bharata-khanda. Now let us discuss about that Bharata-khanda. Bharata-khanda is perked at the southern edge of Jambudipa. This is the entire Jambudipa, and this is the southern side of Mount Meru, and this is the southern edge. At this place, it is perked out from the surface of the Jambudipa. So perked means to stick up or to jut out, and it just comes out of the surface of the earth like a mushroom or something like that. It is not a planet going around the sun. Bharata-khanda is not a planet going around the sun. And this particular understanding is substantiated by Sri Anantaramu of Bangalore. Of course, the translator of BhugolaVarnanam, who is known as Professor Pandurangi, he did this couple of decades back, translated. So during that time, there was a crew who went to Antarctica expedition just to try to understand the Antarctica's structure, etc., etc. He is one of the crew members, and after visiting that, after coming back, he says that the South Pole region projects downwards like a cone. North Pole is flat, but South Pole region is not flat. It actually projects downward like a cone. This region has not been properly surveyed. Therefore, it is indeed a flat lie to say that the South Pole region is slightly flat like the North Pole region. So when the modern observers, they say that Earth is spherical in shape and the North Pole is flat and the South Pole is also flat like that. And he says that it is not like that. The North Pole may be flat, but South Pole goes downward like a cone. So these are different pictures of this is the entire Jambudipa. We have Himalayan mountains are here. These are the 9 divisions of Bharata-varsha according to Dhanur Goswami Maharaj's video. And this is our Himalaya mountain, and this is Bharata-varsha. The same thing is here. This is Himalaya mountain. This is Bharata-varsha. And the height of the Himalayas is 10,000 yojanas. The width of Bharata-varsha from here to here, it is 9,000 yojanas. And it has been divided into 9 khandas. The divisions are like this, flat portions. So now, and this particular portion we see here, this is the Himalaya mountain, and this is the remaining portion of Bharata-varsha. And in this portion, there are 9 divisions. The 9 divisions are like this. This is the first division, second division, third division, fourth division, fifth division, sixth one, seventh one, eighth one, ninth one. And the translators of BhugolaVarnanam, they say that since Himalayas are about 10,000 yojanas in height, and the ninth one, Bharata-khanda, is about 1,000 yojanas in height, the intermediate 8 islands, they actually gradually come down. And this is 9,000 yojanas, this is 8,000, this is 7,000, 6,000, 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, and 1,000. Thus, entire picture of the Bharata-varsha is gradually coming down. Till now, we were only seeing the picture of the 9th Bharata-khanda, like a spherical object. But the other places will be somewhat like this. That's what their understanding. So, width-wise, they are gradually increasing, and also height-wise, they are gradually increasing. So, like that, they are like this. Of course, this picture is not exact to the scale, but in a picture of indicative picture. So, like that. So this is 10,000. The next one will be 9,000. It starts from here to here, like this, 9,000. The next one is 8,000, 7,000, 6,000, 5,000, 4,000, 2,000. The last one will be like a white dot, the red dot, whatever we see here. That is 1,000 in height, 1,000 in width, 1,000 in thickness, something like that. So all these are thickness wise is 1,000 only. From here to here 1,000, here to here 1,000, here to here 1,000, like that. But height-wise, they're gradually increasing, and length-wise also they're gradually increasing according to the length of this portion, etc. So this is a picture shown in BhugolaVarnanam book. The translators say that the 9 khandas or the 9 dvipas of Bharata-varsha will be like this. So here is one picture we can understand about them. So now with the same picture, when you go here and see like this, how does they look like? And this is the 9th one, and this is the 8th one. The 9th one, which is our Earth globe, at the South Pole region, it projects downward like a cone. Here is like a conical structure. It is a conical column made up of ice. Since this particular Jambudipa is surrounded by saltwater ocean, and this saltwater ocean here somewhat solid in nature. So from that solid saltwater ocean, there appears a saltwater ice cone. On top of that ice cone, there is a ball, the spherical ball of Bharata-khanda, something like that. And this is the 8th one, whose height is 2,000 yojanas, little bigger in height, so it's gone upward. So this is how the Bharata-khanda is very well connected to the Jambudipa through the column made up of ice. And of course, this is the understanding of the Madhva scholars who have translated the BhugolaVarnanam book into English. But anyone can have objection. How can we accept this? Anyone can say anything. So we will try to see objectively some supporting statements. So we can have a benefit of doubt, so that kind of structure can be there. The first thing, if we clearly observe the entire world map, the modern man says that out of 100% on the surface of the earth, 29% is occupied by the land. The land portion is only 29% of the surface of the spherical earth. The remaining 71 is occupied by water. And this is the line of equator. And with respect to the line of equator, out of the 29, more than 17% land, not even 17, more than 20% is on the northern hemisphere. Only small 9 to 10% is only in the southern hemisphere. So in the southern hemisphere, what we have is only some portion of South America, some portion of South Africa and Australia. Remaining all earth is in the northern hemisphere only. And then the water is more in the southern hemisphere, and most of the water in the towards South Pole, it is all solid. It is all icy in state. So because this is all icy in state, there could be a ice column. There could be an ice column like this, because the entire Antarctica is all made up of ice. And second thing, the modern scientists, the modern technologies, whatever flights they may send across and whatever rockets they may send across, they are all being sent between these two lines only, this line and this line. Either they can send like this, or they can send like this, or horizontally here and there. They are very rarely they send the satellites are on the upper side or bottom side. And very rarely they send aeroplanes or any rockets, so like going around like this or going around like this Very rarely. They don't do that mistake. Why? Because one appropriate reason could be, this is the modern solar map, the solar system map. This is Sun is here, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. If at all they want to send a satellite into the space in order to understand what is there in the moon and what is there in the Mars or Venus, etc., etc., Earth is here, they need to send the satellite only in the horizontal direction. Here, this side or this side. For moon also, this side or this side. There is no point in sending a rocket or satellite into northern direction or southern direction, because there is nothing in the north or now south. It is all empty space according to modern scientific understanding. There is no point in sending that side. So they only send in the horizontal direction, as we see in this picture. So maybe little bit elevation, but this side only, horizontal side only. Even flight routes are also, most of them in this region only. And so here you can see all the planets, orbits, etc., etc. Everything is like this. So this is our modern solar system. So now, at the front view, you see, this is the entire Jambudipa. Here is the eighth Khanda. This is the 9th Khanda, which is our Bharata-khanda. So at South Pole, there is a conical column. This is another picture of that Bharata-khanda. So it is actually like this. Bharata-khanda is actually like this in this portion only. So any modern observations to support this? So just we'll take a history. There are no flight routes which are going exactly through Antarctica. From Australia, if somebody want to go to South America or South Africa, it will be very close for them. Australia to South America, it is very close if they go through Antarctica. But there are no direct flight routes which are passing through Antarctica. If somebody wants to go in the past from South Africa to South America, they need to go to Middle East and then come here. So one of the reason is, in the past, they were not happy to send flight across the ocean for long distance because of some fuel shortage. Anything can happen like that. So they would send from here to here and here to here. Another reason could be due to lack of sufficient number of passengers. So there is no point in sending like this. So, and then, but as time progressed, as technology advanced, the flight routes established from South Africa to South America, and South Africa to Australia, Australia to South America. But still, none of their flight routes are passing through Antarctica. None of these flight routes are passing through Antarctica. So 1960 to 1990s, the flight routes are like this. So none of them are passing through Antarctica. This is all North Pole region. And then the flight routes are going all this way. Even in 2000 to 2010, if some technology advanced, Australia to South Africa, Australia to South America, the flight routes are there, but they are barely touching Antarctica. They are not passing through Antarctica. Even if somebody wants to go on excursion starting from Australia, they would barely touch Antarctica. And NASA had so many experimental stations in the Antarctica region, but they are all on the border only. Even NASA had conducted in 2011 an experiment known as balloon experiment. They launched a balloon here on January 9th of 2011. It went all around, maybe almost after 20 plus days, 21, 22 days. On February 1st, it terminated here. Even this balloon also did not go into the center of the Antarctica area. But we also see the history that Admiral Byrd he actually went to the center of Antarctica, that is to the South Pole. He traveled via a ship. So taking the help of a ship, he kind of went slowly. I went all the way up to the central Antarctica region. And in his diary, he noted that as on his passage, he saw that so many ice columns all over. There are so many such ice columns are spread all over in that South Pole region. So later on, people who went to Antarctica by various other means also, they have also noticed that there are so many ice columns in that Antarctica region. So because of all these various observations, we can give a benefit out that there could be a solid ice column which is acting as a support for the entire Bharata-khanda. And history also says that, of course, they are not widely popular. They are like kind of hidden. So the scientists have sent rockets into South Pole direction and also into North Pole direction, but they don't know where they have gone. They are kind of disappeared. And the airplanes were also sent through the middle of Antarctica, but those airplanes never came back. They crashed down somewhere, and where they went also no one knows. So like that, there are some incidents in the past also. So we don't know what is happening when somebody goes to the center of South Pole, but still somebody went also. So there are so many different assumptions, different understandings. But in the past, there are many decades, entry to South Pole was kind of restricted or banned. Even today also, if somebody wants to go to South Pole, they cannot go to South Pole just like that on their own. There is a lot of protocols to get permission from various countries and also from UN, from NASA, etc., etc. Otherwise, one cannot go just like that to the South Pole region. And even NASA also, because of all these reasons, many times, sometimes in the past, NASA said that Earth may not be spherical completely. It can be like this, like pear-shaped. And some people said that Earth is like this. The Earth globe is like this, not a globular structure, but somewhat like this. And some people said that Earth is not a perfect sphere. It is somewhat spheroid, somewhat similar to a sphere. So like that, there are different, time and again, different people have said, Earth could be like this, Earth could be like this, Earth could be like this. So we don't know exactly how it is. So we just need to depend on what people are saying, etc., etc. As time progresses, we get to hear some more new things also. But at least some advanced scholars kind of say that at the North Pole, there is a conical structure. So like we take a cone and put an ice cream ball on the top. That's how the Earth globe, Bharata-khanda, and between the below that, the cone is there. The cone is connecting Bharata-khanda to the Jambudipa below the ocean. So that's how we can actually see that though we, to our normal vision through our telescopes, as we see from the space, the Earth globe appears to be floating here and there, but there is a connection to the Jambudipa, etc. So now the question is there, when we have advanced so much in technology, we are sending so many satellites into the space, and satellites are revolving around Earth, and we are capturing images of the Earth at every moment. Why are we not able to see this cone? What is the reason? And why are we not able to see the saltwater ocean below the cone? And why are we not able to see the other 8 islands in Bharata-varsha? And why are we not able to see the greater Himalaya mountain? And why are we not able to see the bigger mountain, Mount Meru, which is at 84,000 yojanas in height? So why all these things are not seen by us? Why the entire Jambudipa is not seen by us, by our telescope or by our satellites, etc., etc. So what is the reason? So this is the biggest question. So in this book, they kind of give an understanding why we are not able to see other places. And simple reason, they say that Adrushya Datava Sarve Samutpanna Jala Adaya. Though everything in the universe is made up of Pancha Mahabhutas, earth, water, fire, air, ether, but sometimes they become invisible because the composition of these 5 elements is different at different locations. Even in front of us, we experience earth, water, fire, ether. We see all of them. Of course, we see earth, water, fire, and we perceive air and ether. But at other places, even these elements also become invisible, imperceivable. So, Adrushya Datava Sarve, all the elements, all the Pancha Mahabhutas sometimes become Adrushya, invisible. So how do we understand? Even the water also becomes Jala Adaya. The earth and water, fire also become invisible. What does it mean? So we have 3 examples here. Okay. Before the examples, Now the Madhva scholars question back. If some modern science questions that, okay, why we are not able to see all these things? How can your scriptures talk about all these things? If you can't show me that, I will not accept. Your scripture is simply making up stories, etc., etc. Somebody might say. So keeping that in mind, the Madhva scholars kind of speak back. The question of the question is, actually they say that this is not the actual question. Actually, one should ask this question. They say that, will our scientists ever get over the human tendency of succumbing to pride and prejudice in order to know the truth? Why do the scientists always depend upon pratyaksha only? Why not they also listen to shabda? This is the question. Will they use a little introspection to shift from mere physical to the spiritual? Pratyaksha to shabda. If they can do this small shift from pratyaksha to pratyaksha plus shabda, the many unresolvable questions can be resolved. Like that they say. Let the wise build up a growing community to save the world from the darkness of materialism. Let them hold the torch of spiritual light. Let there be a renaissance of religious culture based on revelations. So they say that let our modern science harmonize with Shabda Pramana, and let the entire society go ahead with the understanding from the modern science as well as from the Vedic scriptures. So that will be a complete understanding. So whatever is stated in Shabda in Vedic literatures can be understood from modern science. So in that way, it becomes practical reality instead of remaining a theoretical reality. So one should go on like that, they are saying. So now I added 3 examples in order to understand how the earth, water, fire, which are our physical realities, which are there in front of us, whom we see every day in, day out, how they become invisible. Some simple example here. When the water is in ice state, we can hold it and we can see it, we can perceive it. When the same water remains in its constitutional position as all liquid, in order to hold that water, we need a vessel. We need a patrata, something like patra, so that we can hold it. Otherwise, water keeps flowing here and there. And the same water during a hot summer, when it is getting evaporated from the water pond, we can see the water in the pond, but we cannot see the water which is evaporating from the water pond in the hot summer day, hot sunny day. So here you can see through some particular lenses, it can be seen, but with normal eyes, we cannot see. So when the water is in gaseous form or vapor form, we can't see it. The same water only. Here we can see it and hold it properly. Here we can see it. In order to hold it, we need to endeavor. But here, we can't see it. Then what to speak of holding it? So it is becoming adrushya. Similarly, dust. Earth is nothing but combination of dust particles. When you hold on your hand, you can see it, you can hold it, you can feel it. When you mix it with water, in order to hold it, you need some endeavor. Otherwise, it will skid over. It will go out of your fist. But when the same dust is thrown into the air, in a normal air, we can't see. But when we are in a dark room, when the sunlight is coming through a window, in that window, we see dust particles are moving up and down. So this cannot be observed in the West. In India, we can actually see it very widely during our summer season. So in the window, in a dark room, staying in a dark room in the window, we can see dust particles are moving up and down, up and down, up and down. But when you go out of the room, we can't see any dust particles, though they are there unlimited. So the dust also, though it is visible here, it becomes invisible here. So these are like just to understand the concept, how the visible things becoming invisible. Now, the most important example, the gold. Gold in the material world, that gold all of our Matajis and all Prabhujis wearing in terms of ornaments, etc. It is completely jada. We have 22 karat gold, 24 karat gold, 20 karat gold, etc. But it is completely jada without any symptoms of life. We have in terms of all the ornaments. And then the same gold in the spiritual world, it is Chinmaya. It is full of life. It can talk to Supreme Lord. Just like in our normal existence, we cannot speak to the birds. But Bhagavatam says that Lord Krishna could speak to birds, cows, peacocks, and all the forest animals, etc., etc. He can communicate with them. That is the Lord's nature. And also the nature of the birds are also like that in the Golok. Same way in the spiritual world, when Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna wear some ornaments, the ornaments speak to the Lord. So, my dear Lord, are you feeling comfortable? Are you happy by wearing me? Am I pricking you? Am I causing you? Am I hurting you? Something like that it speaks. And Lord also replies back, I am very much happy with you. Something like that. So they are full of life. In the material world, our ornaments are without any life. But in the spiritual world, the golden ornaments are full of life. They are as good as any other Vaikuntha-vasi. But in the middle, somewhere in the middle, which is known as heaven, heaven is not Jada like ours. Heaven is not Chinmaya like the spiritual world. So heaven is in between. So we can call it as subtle. So what do you mean by subtle? So from Mahabharata, we hear the story that when by the request of Pandu Maharaj, Kunti Maharani was inviting one after the other different devatas in order to beget children. So initially she called Yamaraj. So she got a son known as Yudhishthir. Then she called Vayu. She begot Bhima. Then she called Indra. That time Indra appeared sitting on the Airavat and wearing nice ornaments and garments, etc., etc. And he blessed Mother Kunti with a son Arjuna, and then he disappeared. So now simple understanding is, when Indra appeared, along with Indra, Airavata also appeared, and all his ornaments also appeared. His golden ornaments, his garments, everything appeared along with him. And when Indra disappeared, Airavata disappeared, his golden ornaments also disappeared. So now the comparison is, in the material world, in front of our vision, so we all see each other. We see each other means we don't see the Atma, but we see the gross body, which is outside. And we also see the ornaments worn by the people who are in front of us, whether it could be the ring, or it could be the necklace, or earrings, or nose ring, or etc. Anything, any other bracelets, or any necklaces, etc. We see all of them. And when a person dies, the gross body remains here, the golden ornaments also remains here. Whatever is the nature of the golden ornaments, the same the nature of the gross body of the person. So both are Jada in the material world. So in the spiritual world, Lord is spiritual, Lord's body is also spiritual. There is no distinction between the Lord and his body. Similarly, there is no distinction between the body of the gold and the person gold. The body of the gold and the person gold both are Chinmaya only. So they are eternal always. In the heaven, just like the devatas are in subtle state, they are superior to our human body, which is Jada, and they are inferior to the spiritual body of the Supreme Lord. They are in between, they are subtle, we can say. Just like the Indra person is subtle, his body is subtle, his elephant is also subtle, his ornaments are also subtle. When Indra appears, they also appear. When Indra disappears, they also disappear. They are all having same state, subtle in nature. So, since Indra is a person of heaven, he has the nature of subtlety. Similarly, till now we discussed that except Bharata-varsha, remaining Jambudipa, all the way up to the greater Himalayas, everything is Bhauma Swarga. The Mount Meru, greater Himalayas, all other places, everything is part of Bhauma Swarga. Since they are all Bhauma Swarga, they belong to the category of subtlety. That's why we cannot see them always. Just like when Mother Kunti prayed, then Indra appeared. Similarly, when we pray with the necessary qualification, all those things can show themselves to us. Otherwise, with our own materialistic endeavor, we cannot see them. Only with the attaining necessary qualifications, we can see all those things, the greater Himalayas and also other things. So just extending the same point, similarly, we can also understand that we will not be able to see the other 8 islands of Bharata-varsha also. Maybe they are also a little bit more subtle or whatever it is, I don't know. But we can also extend the same principle to that. And also, the ice column which is there below the earth globe. This is the earth globe and this is the ice column. And below there is saltwater ocean, which is also part of Jambudipa, which is also part of Bhauma Swarga. And we cannot see the saltwater ocean because it is subtle. And the ice column which is connecting saltwater ocean, which is also connecting Bharata-khanda, which is connecting via medium both. Here it is grass, we can see a little bit. Here it is subtle, we cannot see. So whatever we are able to see, that ice column gradually becomes slowly invisible. Somewhere in the middle, it becomes completely invisible, and afterwards it becomes nowhere seen. Because on the other side, it is connected to the saltwater ocean. So like that we can understand. Though the saltwater ocean is elevated like a column, ice column, on top of which the Bharata-khanda is there, but the column cannot be seen completely because the saltwater ocean belongs to Bhauma Swarga. It is subtle in nature. So with this example, we can get the hint about that. So this particular thing, why we can't see them, can also, why Devatas are not seen by us generally. What is the reason? But they are there. There is one question which is being asked many times. So when Mount Meru is there, other side when sun goes, the America portion should not get sunlight because Mount Meru should block the sunlight, etc. Such kind of questions many times will come. So in order to answer that, and also many other questions like Bharata-khanda is this side of the greater Himalayas. When the sun is that side, the sunlight cannot pass through the Himalayas and does not come to the America side of the earth globe. So this pastime answer that question. So from Vanaparva, Mahabharat Vanaparva, there is Nalopakyana Parva, chapter 54 talks about Swayamvara of Damayanti. This Nala Damayanti Swayamvara is very special pastime in the Mahabharat. So wherein it says that, so just like we hear in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, Rukmini heard from various sages such as Narada Muni, etc., about Lord Krishna, and she gave her heart to Lord Krishna. When Rukmi, her elder brother, Rukmini's elder brother, arranged her marriage with Shishupal, so Rukmini invited a Brahmana, wrote a letter to Lord Krishna, and requested the Brahmana to give that letter to Lord Krishna, wherein she expressed that, so my dear Lord, please come and take me and marry me in a Rakshasa style. So otherwise, I have already given my life to my heart to you. I don't want to marry Shishupal. If you don't come, I will die. Like that she wrote in that letter. Then Lord Krishna came and kidnapped Mother Rukmini. So similarly, Damayanti also heard about the glories of Nala from a swan. A swan would always speak the glories of Nala. So she kind of developed attraction towards Nala. So then she expressed her desire to her father. Then her father conducted a Swayamvar ceremony. So just like Nala, similarly, just like Damayanti heard about Nala and became attracted to her, Nala also heard about Damayanti from the same swan and he also became attracted to her. Similarly, the Devatas from heaven also heard about Damayanti's beauty. They also became attracted and they also came down to marry her. So the one day before Swayamvar, in the late evening, all the Devatas, so they requested one person who is actually Nala. They requested Nala himself, you please go into the inner chambers of the princess and tell her that we all different Devatas have come from Sarga, you should marry one of us. So Nala kind of disguised like a normal person and went into the inner chambers and gave the message to Damayanti. And then Damayanti humbly said that, so kindly pass on this message to Devatas that, my dear sir, I have already chose Nala as my husband. So please kindly all of you return to your respective homes. So when Nala gave the same message to Devatas, Devatas became angry at Damayanti. So they said that, we'll see how you will not marry us, like that. So next day morning, when Swayamvar started, all the Devatas transformed themselves into Nala. So there was not one Nala, but there are hundreds of Nalas in that Swayamvar ceremony. Then Damayanti understood the Devatas are playing, Devatas are all assumed the form of Nala. Then she humbly bowed down to Devatas and requested them that, my dear sir, please retrieve your forms and assume your original forms and please show mercy upon me and bless me that let me stay happily with my would-be husband Nala, something like that. Then all the Devatas put a test to her. They said that, if you identify who among all of us is the actual Nala, we will go back with blessing you, by blessing you in proper blessings, etc. So then, since Damayanti is a princess, she know who are who. Then she kind of recollected the characteristics of Devatas. So it says that Damayanti then beheld all the gods who are not perspiring. Devatas does not perspire. With fixed eyes, Devatas never blink their eyes. Their eyes are always open. And they were wearing spotless garlands. The garlands of the Devatas will never fade. When the garland of the Devatas are fading means their lifespan is ended. Whoever is residing in Swarga, they were given one garland that is always ever fresh. When it starts fading, that means their life is ending. Because they never go through old age. Only their garland goes through old age. That is understanding of ending of their life. And the spotless garland around their necks, and they are seated without touching the earth. The Devatas never touch the earth. Even though they may come to Bharata-khanda or Bharata-varsha, but their feet never touches the earth. These are the qualities and different characteristics of Devatas. And then few more details. She, on the other hand, so she saw many people having all these characteristics, and she saw one person, Nala, standing preeminent with his shadow, unlike the Devatas. The Devatas never cast shadow, but Nala was casting shadow, and Nala was full of perspiration, with floral weathers stained with dust. His garland is already weathered, and it is filled with a lot of dust because he wore the garland early in the morning after taking bath, and now it is almost noon, so it kind of withered out and also filled with a lot of dust because of his travel here and there. And he was also seated on the ground with blinking eyes. His eyes are constantly blinking. Wherever he sat, his feet is touching the ground. Then she understood who are the Devatas and who is Nala. Then she identified. So one point is that the Devatas never cast shadow. Not only the Devatas, so any abode belongs to Devatas also does not cast shadow. So that means the sunlight passes through them. The Mount Meru, the greater Himalayas, and all other mountains do not block the sunlight that is coming to Bharata-khanda, or that is coming towards American side of the Bharata-khanda. So even in America also we get sunlight aptly. So these are like various supporting statements which indicate how though all these places are there, but we cannot see them because they all belongs to heavenly regions. So since they are all of heavenly regions, we will not be able to see with our normal vision. This is also there. Huh? So this is our universe. Okay, it's like that. I don't know why this slide is there, but anyway, so this is why we can't see them with our normal vision. Only when we pray to them with their causeless mercy, they can actually show themselves to us. Even the greater Himalayas we want to see, we cannot see with our normal eyesight. When they are merciful to us, we can see them. Okay, before taking a few more slide discussion, so let us briefly take some questions, if there are some questions till now, but based on our discussion till now. Yeah, please.
Wait, Prabhu, please go ahead, Prabhu, and to that one, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for explaining this. The question I had is, you mentioned about the greater Himalayas beyond the Bharat-varsha or the 9 khandas. How do we understand the Himalayas on the earth globe itself? I mean, the question is, when Srimad Bhagavatam mentions about, in some instances, it does mention about Himalayas in the verse itself. So when Bhagavatam mentions about Himalayas, is it the Himalayas that you actually showed us that's beyond the 9 khandas, or is it the Himalayas on the earth globe?
Yeah, in the upcoming slides, we have shown some examples, then we will discuss about it. Okay. So mostly when Bhagavatam is talking about the Himalayas, that is actually talking about the greater Himalayas, not the Himalayas of ours, the Indian northern boundary.
Okay, so when the Pandavas actually went to the Himalayas, it is actually the Himalayas on the The greater Himalayas, you're saying?
Yes, yes, the greater Himalayas.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Vamshidhar Prabhu, please go ahead, Prabhu.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So Prabhuji, like, yeah, today a lot of questions got cleared. So when you said that, so now we can understand that as per like BhugolaVarnanam, Earth is stationary, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and when we say that above Earth is the like upper planetary system, like not Earth, above Bhu-mandala is upper, like higher planetary system, and below Earth is lower planetary system, as we see. So is that understanding correct? Like now we understand now there is a conical cone which is attaching Earth to the Jambudvipa. So if somehow, like not materially, so understanding is that as we move downwards from the South Pole, and then once we hit the Jambudvipa, and then we go further down, then it is all Earth. So then the Patal regions and hellish regions and all those will be there, right?
Yes, yes. As you go downward, you will go to Patal regions. Perfect.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So that understanding is very clear now. So one doubt I got, Prabhuji, in one of the slides, initially you said that the Earth, like Sun's orbit is 93 million mile and the Moon orbit is 0.25 million mile.
Yes.
So I got confused with that. So is that appears that then the Moon is much nearer to Earth and then Sun is further away?
Yes, perfect.
So that is correct. Okay. So, but when we say orbit is 93 million mile, so is it still that orbit we are talking about, which like at Pushkar Dwipa?
We will try to see all those details in the later presentation, maybe tomorrow's class.
Okay.
So there the point is to explain the Bhu-mandala like this, not flat like 1 rupee coin. That was the discussion under context.
Okay.
So about Sun's orbit being at that distance and all, we will try to establish what is the exact distance in the tomorrow's class. We will talk about elaborately about Sun, Moon, etc. from 21st chapter onwards.
Okay.
So today the thing is that, so for the Sun to have Uttara and Dakshina, it's supposed to go below the line of equator also, and it should go above the line of equator. For that, only Bhu-mandala event is like this. When Earth is here, Sun can go below and Sun can go above. That is possible, like that.
Okay. Okay. And in one slide, you show those other planets in our solar system. So we will discuss further about them in next session.
Yeah, we will discuss about them. There I showed because according to the modern science, the solar system is a plane structure, planar.
Right.
So when Earth is here, Mars is here, and Mercury is here, or Moon is also here. When you want to send a rocket, you send like this only.
Right.
You don't send anything to the north or to south.
Mm-hmm.
So that was in order to show that point, I showed that.
Okay. Okay. So I will wait for tomorrow's session, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Anand Vilas Das Prabhuji, please go ahead, Prabhuji.
I'll unmute myself. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. You touched upon state of matter actually there, and it resonated with me that there are state of matter which are not even visible, and like solid, liquid, gas, and there is plasma state of matter. As you were saying, we can't see certain things, and there is they say there is a fourth state of matter, there is a fifth state of matter, there is a sixth state of matter, like Fermi particles, Bose-Einstein particles. So it's just resonating with me. It's very well with the modern physics also, the particle physics. Thank you so much. So there was another question, but I just can't remember it. And when the light strikes, actually, it has to scatter in order to see object. If light passes through, we don't see anything, right?
Yes.
So that also justifies what you just said. So it's a very scholarly presentation, actually. Thank you so much for that. It's taking into consideration the modern physics as well.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. There is a question in the chat, Prabhu, from Laltangi Radha Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, thanks for the enlightening class. How are scientists able to see other planets like Jupiter, Saturn, etc. through telescopes? Are they not subtle? And they are, and where are they located?
Okay. We will discuss about them tomorrow onwards, about all the planets. And now I'll ask you written question. The scientists are seeing Sun. The scientists are seeing Moon, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, etc. Are they seeing the people who are living in those places? Are they seeing Sun God, Moon God, the moon god's wife, children, etc., etc.?
No, Prabhuji. They are just seeing.
They are just seeing.
From here, they describe that there is a ball of ring and it is made of gas and it's not. There is no water there. It is rocky, something like that.
So basically, at a distance, we see there is an object which is glowing. Some glow we see, whether it is sun, moon, or other stars or planets. There are some object located at a far distance and it is glowing. It is emitting some light. Either it is emitting or reflecting some sunlight. That much only they see. They can't see what exactly is there inside. And why they are seeing, why they are not seeing the people inside them is the concluding slide of this presentation. So that time I will reveal that why they are seeing only the something only, why they are not seeing everything. So there is a purpose behind all those things. So that we will discuss at the end of this presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. One more question.
Yes.
Sometimes I've read that Srila Prabhupada said maybe the people would have possibility to go to land in Rahu and not in Moon.
Sorry. Please don't ask that question right now. We will take up that when we go to the Moon. That means when we discuss that 22nd chapter.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, thank you so much.
So questions are welcomed based on today's discussion.
Thank you. Any other questions, devotees? Do you have any other questions that you would like to clarify or realizations? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Prabhu, you said Uttarayan, Dakshinayan, and one more
Vaishupaya.
Vishwadayana. Vishwadayana means sun is exactly in the middle. With respect to Uttarayana, Dakshinayana, Dakshinayana means it goes from top to bottom. Uttarayana is bottom to top. When sun is exactly in the middle during the month of April and October, that is called Vishwadayana.
Okay, Prabhu. Got clear. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. So we will move on. So I request everyone to pay attention. This is one of the very interesting topic what we are going to discuss. So this may question our belief. This may question our understanding till date what we have. So we have studied so much about this particular aspect since our childhood, from the day one when we go to school. Because since childhood there is curiosity about all these things. Because from day one of our birth we can start seeing all these stellar objects in the sky. So what we have studied and what we have understood and what we have assumed till now is put into stake now. This coming slides. So now the Madhva scholars, the translators of this book, they are questioning back to the modern scientists. They say that we speak of suns, we speak of multiple suns and multiple solar systems within the millions of galaxies. This is what we have studied in our school book. We studied that we have a solar system. This solar system is within one galaxy. There are hundreds of galaxies, hundreds of Milky Ways, hundreds of nebulas, and everywhere there are other solar systems. And we also heard about aliens coming from other solar systems to our solar system, and they are trying to create some problems, etc., etc. Some aliens are also captured. Like that, we hear so many things in our school. Have the scientists found at least one more solar system within our own galaxy? Scientists have talked about many more galaxies, many more Milky Ways, many more nebulas. They have given different names to these galaxies, nebulas, and Milky Ways. But did they have really found another solar system consisting of sun, moon, and other planets? They might have said that here is one solar system like that, but they have really gone there and saw it and exactly they can describe it. We also speak of galaxies of different types. There are different types of galaxies they talk about. Are there any galaxies seen in the southern celestial hemisphere except the two Magellanic clouds? So we can very well accept that in the northern side of Bharata-khanda, This is all empty space. So there could be many more galaxies, many more Milky Ways, many more nebulas. That is fine. But on the southern side, at least till date, we were discussing that there is Garbhodaka ocean. Above that, there is Shesha. Above Shesha, there is entire Bhu-mandala. And above the Bhu-mandala, we have Bharata-khanda. Though Bhu-mandala cannot be seen by us, but it is there. But when the scientists look into the southern side of the universe, does they see any galaxies? And science says that they see some. And whatever they see appears to be like clouds. And they have named them as Magellanic clouds. The entire structure appears to be two huge clouds. So they call them as twin Magellanic clouds. So later on you can check in the web. It is there actually. It is not something made up. If not, what is beyond there to the south? If the scientists are not able to see many galaxies except two Magellanic clouds, then what is there in the southern side of the universe? Below the Earth globe, below towards North South Pole. For the information of the scientists, it may be said that whatever the scientists calling it as galaxy or Milky Way or nebula, it is nothing but cluster of millions of divine vehicles which are seen by us like the stars. Whatever stars we are seeing from day one of our birth on the surface of the earth, in our childhood, when we were very small infants, even in the lap of mother, in the evening, mother would always tell the child that, okay, see there, see that star, see this moon, and then she would put some rice in the mouth of the child. This is general practice which is there, which we can see, and which we could have seen with our siblings when they were young, when we were little grown up, and mother somehow, in order to feed the child the rice or whatever, when the child grows enough to eat rice, she would always show that, okay, see the moon, see the star, see this, see that, then put the rice in the mouth of the child. And all the stars, what we see in the sky, when we go to school, we study that. Generally, we study in the school books like the most of the stars are all like sun, and some stars which are nothing but the sun might have another solar system. This is what we have studied in our school. And from Vedic literatures, our acharyas say that, and Bhagavatam and other Puranas say that the stars are nothing but the divine vehicles of the residents of Bhuvarloka and Svargaloka. Whoever is staying in Bhuvarloka and Svargaloka, which we will discuss elaborately, who are staying in those respective places in the future chapters, but every person living in those places will be given one star for them to stay. So in one star, one main devata, along with him, his wife, children, attendants, other companions, friends, relatives, everyone will reside in all those different stars. All the stars are the abodes of different heavenly beings. One star is the abode of Indra, one star is the abode of Varuna, one star is the abode of the Vayu, like that. Yakshas, Rakshasas, Kinnaras, Kimpurushas, everyone will have for them stars as their residences. I'll give you two examples. I will not talk about them, but we'll discuss about them in the future slides. One is, in the Bhagavatam we see, third canto, I think very recently you must have studied. In order to please his wife Devahuti, Kardama Muni had created a aerial mansion consisting of all wonderful and opulent facilities, wherein Devahuti was being served by thousands of the maid servants, thousands of the apsaras, etc. So, whatever description that we study in Bhagavatam 3rd canto about this aerial mansion, like that, these stars are all. In every star, that kind of facilities will be there. And one star was given to one person. And one such person who was given one star is Chitraketu Maharaj. We read from 6th canto Bhagavatam. Maybe very soon you are going to study 6th canto Bhagavatam. There it is mentioned that after realizing that the temporary nature of this material existence, after the death of Harshashoka, following the instructions of Narada Muni, when Chitraketu Maharaj performed severe austerities, he had darshan of Lord Sankarsana. Then eventually he became the king of Vidyadharas. That time he was given an airplane, and he was traveling in that airplane being served by many of the heavenly concerts for 1 lakh years. And that airplane is nothing but a star seen by us. So whatever stars we see from our home, from here, they are all nothing but like the airplane created by Kardama-muni or the airplane given to Chitraketu Maharaj. So like that, they were all residents of the heavenly beings. And when such kind of heavenly airplanes are together in huge number, the scientists, when they see them, they call it as galaxy, Milky Way, nebula, etc., etc. They are all star-like planets, which are the abodes of Yakshas, Guhyakas, Kinnaras, Kimpurshas, Siddhas, Charanas, Vidyadharas, Gandharvas, Apsaras, and also the Devatas. Each and every Devata will be residing in one of these stars. Though they are in one cluster, they may differ in dimensions. So, for example, when Indra calls all the heavenly residents for a meeting, so Varuna is supposed to go from his Varuna Loka to Indra Loka. It is a long distance. He will travel in his own chariot or in his own airplane. So when he is traveling, he cannot go alone. He will also accompanied by his wife, his minister, his servants, his army, etc., etc. So everyone will have their own respective chariot when they are men. The ladies will have their respective palanquins, etc., etc. We can understand. When all of them are moving together, in a normal observation also, in our place also, the king is going, along with him queen, the minister, the army, etc. Everyone is going. Everyone's chariots may not be same. The king's chariot will be like more opulent, more elegant, more bigger in size, etc. The next would be the minister, next would be the other attendants, etc., etc. So though they are all going together, but they are all of different in size. They are all different in glow, etc., etc. So with our modern telescope, when we look into the space, when we see so many stars together, some stars appear to be more brighter and also bigger in size. And some stars appears to be medium in brightness and medium in size. And some stars appears to be small in dimension and smaller in brightness. So a simple understanding of modern science is they measure the stellar distances with a measurement known as parallax method or magnitude method. So taking the reference of the magnitude method, so we can draw this understanding that. So now when the telescope shows a particular star which is brighter and also which is very wide, they say this is very close by. And which is medium, a little far. Which is small, it is very, very, very far. And they say that these stars are located at a distance of so many light years, etc., etc., etc. So that is how the modern measurements have been made based on the magnitude. But from the scriptural point of view, they are all together. The Varuna's chariot obviously will appear to be very bright and it is very big in size. And his queen's chariot or the chariot of his minister, they will be somewhat in the middle. And the natural army, the attendants, whichever they are traveling, they will be smaller. Though they are all together, but each one will be shining with a different magnitude. So this is how we have to see the contrast between the Vedic understanding and modern understanding. So the modern understanding is all the stars could be different suns, and the brighter star is nearby, the medium brighter star is a little far, and the small brighter star, like a very less bright star, is very, very far distant. But Vedic understanding is they are all together. The star is the abode of Devatas. The Devatas are the lesser Devatas. And the brightest star is belongs to the king, the main person, the leader. The remaining stars belongs to the followers. So here, just to understand this conception is correct or not, there is a reference from Mahabharata. So by the request of Vyasadeva, Arjuna went to greater Himalayas. There he performed severe austerities at the foot of Kailash mountain to please Lord Shiva, so that he will get Pashupatasra. So he pleased Lord Shiva, he obtained Pashupatasra, Then Lord Shiva told him that please now go to heaven and get all the divine weapons from all different devatas. Then Lord Shiva disappeared. Then the four devatas appeared: Indra, Varuna, and Soma, and Yama. And they said that, so my dear Arjuna, please come to heaven. Indra says, my dear Arjuna, please come to heaven. I will teach you all the weapons that are required for you so that you Pandavas can become victorious in the upcoming battle known as Mahabharata. So then Indra disappeared. In no time, Indra had sent his chariot along with the chariot driver Matali. So Matali came with the Indra chariot, and Matali requested Arjuna to board the chariot. And now Matali is driving Arjuna back to heaven from the greater Himalayas, from the Kailash mountain. So on the way, Arjuna saw so many brightly shining chariots or brightly shining airplanes which are flying in the air. So on his way, there did not shine the sun, the moon, or the fire. So in that place, so there is no sun directly shine and moon or etc. etc. But that means basically he saw so many chariots which are actually self-effulgent. They did not reflect sunlight or moonlight or the fire. They are not fire also. They are self-effulgent. All the chariots are self-effulgent. So, but it blazed in its own light, begotten of virtue and ascetic merit. And those brilliant regions that are seen from the earth in the form of stars. When Arjuna is seeing them in person, he is seeing the chariots which are brightly shining. But when we see from the surface of the earth, we see them like the stars. Like lamps, too small on account of the distance, though very large, were seen in their own spheres by the son of Pandu, full of beauty and brilliance and shining in their native splendor. From our place, from the surface of the earth, we see them like a small lamp which is there in the sky. But for Arjuna, they are appearing to be huge chariots, huge airplanes which are brightly shining. There Arjuna saw royal sages of accomplished piety, heroes who had been slain in battle, those Kshatriyas who were killed in the battle, those Brahmanas who performed severe austerities throughout their life. After their death, they were promoted to heaven and they are given one chariot or one airplane. As long as their piety allows them to stay in Swarga, they will stay in one of these stars or airplanes. And Arjuna now personally seeing all those royal sages, royal Brahmanas, and also the royal Kshatriyas who died in the battlefield, who are ascended to heaven. And then Arjuna kind of asks Matali, who are these people who are seated in these chariots, etc., in airplanes, etc.? And then Matali says that they are all Brahmanas devoted to penances, and hundreds of thousands of Gandharvas shining in effulgence like the sun, and also Guyakas, Rishis, and various Apsaras. Beholding those effulgent regions, Falguni is stricken with wonder. Seeing all of them, Arjuna became wonderstruck. What is this astonishing sight? I see there are so many beautifully shining chariots and airplanes and filled with lot of sages, Brahmanas, Apsaras, Gandharvas, Kinnaras, Kimpurushas, etc., etc. Then he asked Matali, please tell me who are they? Then Matali replied, these are pious persons, O Sanaprita, stationed in their respective spheres, whom you have seen from the earth in the form of stars. All the pious people who have been to Swarga, they are all stationed in those particular airplanes or chariots which appear to us like the stars from earth. So this we can understand from Mahabharata. Previous pious kings stay in these star-like planets on the way to heaven. So Arjuna saw all of them on his way to heaven. And these particular verses come in Vanaparva, Mahabharata Vanaparva, chapter 42, verse number 32 to 38. For more details, you can read Vanaparva. And now, the Madhva scholars, not Madhva scholars, some understanding, some mutual comparison. The modern scientists have found that stellar distances. They say that The alpha star is the closest star to our sun planet. Among all the stars that we see in the night, alpha star is the very close star to our sun planet. It is located at a distance of 4.22 light years. Light year is that unit when we allow sunlight for one complete year. Whatever distance covered by the sunlight is called 1 light year. Generally, for the sunlight to come from sun to our place, it will take 8 minutes. The distance between sun and earth is 93 million miles, and it takes 8 minutes from there to here. And the same sunlight is allowed for one complete year. So whatever distance it covers, that is called 1 light year. So 1 light year is equal to 9.5 into 10 to the power of 12 kilometers. That is almost equal to 728 billion yojanas. When we divide this with 13, we get this value. 728 billion yojanas. This is 1 light year. And the modern science say that the pole star is located at a distance of 433 light years, 100 times to the alpha star. That means 100 times means 7.28 trillion yojanas, somewhat like that. Or 72.8 trillion yojanas. That much distance is the pole star. Versus vis-a-vis our Bhagavatam understanding. The inner radius of our universe is 250 million yojanas. The Loka mountain begins at a distance of 41.1 million yojanas and it ends at a distance of 82.2 million yojanas. So, from the center of Mount Meru or from our Bharata-khanda, the Loka mountain begins at 41.1 and the far edge of Loka mountain is 123.3 because this is 41 and this is 82. The outer distance is 123.3. The peak of Loka mountain is 82 million yojanas, 80 million yojanas we can take approximately. And from Bhagavatam, from Bharata-khanda, the height of pole star, it is only 3.8 million yojanas. If this is 3.8 and if this is 80, the diagonal distance would be approximately 80 plus, something like that. That means the maximum distance that we can see within our universe, according to our Bhagavatam or other Puranas, could be 80 to 100 million yojanas, not more than that. We can't see anything outside of this mountain. We can at max see to the peak of this mountain. So the peak of the mountain can be there at a distance of 100 million yojanas. From here to the peak could be 100. This is only 3.8. Though picture shows it is too long, but it actually is very close. For an indicative picture I shown like that. So though from here to here it is 123. So we could take it as 100. We can take it as a round figure by round figure. So the maximum distance that we can see within our universe is only 100 million yojanas, not more than that. But the modern science says that the alpha star is at a distance of 728 billion yojanas and pole star will be 100 times to this. It's like 72.8 trillion yojanas. But our universe itself is 250. From here to here it is the universal shell, 250 million yojanas. So we can't see anything outside this mountain. Then how can we see something outside the universal shell? It is not possible. The simple understanding is all these stars that we see in the night, they are all located in the Bhuvarloka or in the Svargaloka. Though we can see them, but we don't have the necessary qualification to measure their distances. That is our limitation. Because they are all belongs to the heavenly residents. The heavenly residents are all highly mystic personalities. Though we may have highest grade of scientific equipment, which can actually predict the exact value of the distance of various objects. But when it comes to the objects which belongs to heavenly abodes, our equipments cannot give right dimensions. Our equipments will fall short when it comes to the measurements of subtle abodes. All the stars are actually part of Bhuvarloka or Svargaloka. So we being belonging to Bhuloka, especially belonging to Karma-bhumi, Bharata-varsha or Bharata-khanda, we don't have that necessary qualification to measure the locations of the residents of Svargaloka or Bhuvarloka. We may see them like glittering objects, but we may not go beyond than that. So that is our limitation. So we need to accept that limitation. So sun will be here and moon will be here, like that. All the stars and planets are located in this region only, in this region. They can't give sunlight outside, or the stars also cannot go outside. Whatever star that we see, everything is in this area only. So, but when we try to measure, the measurement will be always of different order, because they belong to heavenly. So we don't have access to heavenly objects. We may see them like the glittering objects, nothing more than that. So finally, at the end, the Madhva scholars, the Madhva translators, they say that accepting the few conservatives among the scientists who have built up the prejudicial complexes in themselves, all other great scientists have admitted the limitations of human knowledge and have declared that the mystery about the beginning of the universe is ever a mystery for them. We may come up with so many theories about the beginning of the universe, about all the Milky Way, stars, solar systems, etc. But it is still a great mystery. We cannot understand just by our direct sense perception. There is a limitation to it. We may talk about which are in our near vicinity perfectly, because they are all perceivable to our senses. But we may not talk about those things which are not perceivable to our senses. They are beyond our perception. So in this regard, Srila Prabhupada says, the mountains on earth, the maximum height of all the mountains in our earth is only the Mount Everest, which is about 9 kilometers, not more than that. But in the universe, we are talking about 2,000 yojanas, 10,000 yojanas, 84,000 yojanas, like that. Be satisfied with the statements of the Vedic authorities. Appreciate how Lord's external energy manifests the cosmos. Our experimental knowledge can neither verify nor disprove the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. Our experimental knowledge can neither verify nor disprove the statements of Srimad Bhagavatam. Today, science may not accept many things, but tomorrow, one day, science may agree to it when that will be realized. For example, for many centuries, many decades, no one accepted the plants have life. They would only, in the beginning, they would only say only humans have life, even animals do not have life. Later on, they accepted animals have life. Later on, they accepted plants have life. Later on, they accepted amoeba, bacteria also have life, like that. The science is actually, the material science is actually evolving. So what we don't accept today, tomorrow it will be proved by science and accepted. So like that. So we cannot stop it there itself. We should accept the limitation of the modern science. So like that, the acharyas, the scholars from various sampradayas, have kind of presented this particular subject matter. So just to draw some parallels, I kind of compared the stellar distances just to get an idea what they are actually in relation to the structure of the universe that we are discussing. So finally, I have some details. Of course, it will take some time. I will not discuss now. So now the question is, any normal person can have a question. Ramayana, Mahabharata, Vishnu Purana, other Purana, Bhagavat Purana, they are talking about all these places. And you are telling that we can't see them. They are talking, but we cannot see them. So how can we accept them whether they really exist or not? How can you establish that they are existing? So I try to add some examples in the future slides. We will discuss about them elaborately tomorrow. So what I am trying to say is, when we read Mahabharata, Ramayana, Bhagavatam, Vishnu Purana, other things, we read so many pastimes. We read about their birth, activities, fights, wars, etc. So many things that have happened all over the universe. When we read those pastimes, since all of us are practicing devotees, we have complete faith about all those pastimes. We accept that all these pastimes have done in the past. For example, Mahabharata happened 5,000 years ago. All the Mahabharata events, Lord Krishna's pastimes and Pandava's pastimes happened 5,000 years ago. And Lord Ram appeared in the Treta Yuga of the 24th Chaturyuga cycle. Lord Varaha appeared long back during Chakshusha Manvantara and also during Swayambhu Manvantara. Lord Narsingadev also appeared during one of the Satyugas in the past. So we accept all these pastimes had happened. Lord appeared in order to protect the devotee, in order to kill the demon, etc., etc. If we carefully observe all those pastimes, every pastime has some connection to a particular place that we have discussed till now. If we accept all the pastimes that they had happened in the past with a particular timestamp, then with the same authenticity, we should also accept the places where those pastimes have been performed. Just like the pastimes are authentic and they had their existence in the history, the places are also authentic and they had their existence in the history. So taking this clue, I will present some examples, so which we will see tomorrow, and which will give some connection to all the details that we have discussed until now. And we'll also conclude with a particular understanding. So why why those places were accessible to some people in the past and why they are not accessible to us, and why we are seeing the sun, moon and other planets and stars today, and why we are not, though we are seeing sun, moon, but we can't see the sun person, moon person, the moon god, sun god, other persons. So that we will conclude with that last slide that we will discuss in the tomorrow's session. So we will stop our discussion till here for today. And before closing, if there are any questions, quickly we can take a couple of questions and close for the day.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for so much wonderful explanation of all this in a scientific and this way, Prabhu. I see some questions in the chat window, Prabhu. I can read them for you.
Yeah, please.
Rajasri Devi Mataji asking, Prabhu, sometimes we see stars falling. What does it signify? Prabhu, that means we can see Svargaloka from Bharata-khanda. That is one question.
We only see the bright objects. So if something is falling, we understand that meteors are falling, ketus are falling, like that we hear. I'll give you a simple example. For example, Indra would call someone, that person is traveling very fast in a chariot. So it appears to be falling or going this side, that side, like that, some way. From the personal point of view, someone is going from one place to other place, that we see something is falling down, etc. Something like that we can understand.
Oh. So,
and it appears to be so, once again, it appears to be so silly, because sometimes the modern, we also hear about science from the modern science, that sometimes the meteors are coming and they're coming close to air, they may hit air, there will be a great danger, etc., etc. So there all could be some objects which are kind of drifted away from their respective location coming down. But for a normal understanding, for a general understanding, somebody might, some particular star might be going from one place to other place, etc., etc. When we come to 23rd chapter, we will get more information about ketus, what the ketus are, what exactly, why they are moving here and there. Some we'll touch upon that, but something like that we can think of. Somebody is traveling from one place to other place, we see them falling or going up or something like that.
Okay. Mataji has another question. The pole star is whose abode, Prabhu?
We will discuss when we go to 23rd chapter. Pole star is also called a Dhruva Loka. It is the abode of Dhruva Maharaj. Till now, that much is enough.
Laltangi Mataji is saying, finally today we got the answer to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. How I wonder what you are. She's saying that.
Yeah, actually in this connection, I'll tell you one anecdote. This actually we see in the movies or something like that. Even we can see in our neighborhood. For example, if one person joined in the army, he got married and he had a daughter or son. The daughter or son is very small, maybe 1 or 2 years old. And there is a war between India and neighboring country. And he died in the battle. He was killed in the battle. So the wife understands that her husband passed away. When the child asks, Mama, Papa kahan hai? Where is our father? Where is my father? By default, any mother in India, they will show that the mother will show to the sky and the mother will tell the child that, see, there one star is there, your father is there. Because the Indian culture is so that if somebody dies in the battlefield, they understand that that person has gone to heaven. Even in our daily vocabulary, in our normal talking also, if somebody dies in the family, they will say that they have gone to Swarga. In our Andhra Pradesh, since I childhood, I used to see all these cards. when somebody dies in their particular family, for the 12th day, whatever their final rites, they print cards. So in that cards, they actually write that Svargastu Lainaru. That means they have ascended to Swarga. People in general, because of the Indian culture, they live pious life, and when they die, they assume that they have gone to Swarga, and they also talk like that. When in a public address, when somebody dies, and when they want to address that person, they say that Swargiya Sri Sri, so and so person. It is by default believed that when after death they will go to Swarga. So this is how the tradition is coming down. So it is not something new we are talking about here. It is there in our day-to-day conversations. It is always there. So it's like that. In our Vaishnava tradition, when some devotee passes away, it is by default that we celebrate a memorial ceremony wherein our senior devotees, our Guru Varga, they say that, so this devotee is on the way back home, back to Godhead. We say that they have gone to spiritual world. They are on the way to spiritual world, like that. We don't say that they died and they will take birth again. They have gone to Narakaloka, hellish planets, etc. We don't ever say. Even though we don't know what happened to that person, but on a positive note, we always say that they are on the way back home, back to Godhead. In a normal society, they say that they have gone to Swarga. That is generally believed. So it's like that. If at all they go to Swarga, they will be given a particular star for them to stay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much. Vrinda Gopi Mataji says that Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam on behalf of all Vaishnavas. Very wonderful class. Thank you, Prabhuji, learning so many things and very, very nectarian class. Dear devotees, if you have any questions or realizations, please go ahead. Prabhu, do you have time, Prabhu? If any...
I am okay. I am free.
Okay.
If you have time, we'll take questions.
Yeah. Devotees, if you have any questions or clarifications, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So, Prabhuji, just wanted to confirm couple of understanding based on what I hear. So in southern hemisphere, we see that the land portion you explained that is very less, and that land portion is also very further away from the South Pole, like the Africa continent and Australia continent. So then it's logical that they see stars. They still see stars though they are in southern hemisphere, because the land portion is close to equator as opposed to close to South Pole.
Yes.
Right. So that is right understanding. Okay.
They
And
see stars mostly in the horizontal direction. Maybe they're overhead or sideways.
Right.
They may not be able to see so many stars exactly towards the South Pole direction, which is the direction of the saltwater ocean.
Right. And another understanding is that just like it may be my speculation. So when we say that star is falling, and you said that earlier that anybody in Swarga Loka, when their pious activities are over, so they come down again. So are these stars only belong to Devatas, or the stars belong to all those pious people also who may come down later?
Whoever has gone to Swarga, every person will be given one star to reside.
Okay.
And we will discuss about what are the sizes of the stars when we go to chapter 22nd. There we will have more details about the stars, etc.
Okay. So will you also explain the constellation and the group of stars like we see in the sky?
Yes. We will discuss about all of them in the future.
Okay.
So right now the understanding is, so we are trying to show some limitations of the modern science.
Yes.
And we are also trying to help you understand what are the stars are really.
Right.
So
right.
In that way.
Right. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I believe you tried to explain this already, but I need to ask again. Okay, so we know that the stars are, I don't know, mystical, subtle, whatever, so we can't really judge their distance. But if we understand that light travels at a certain rate of speed, right? Why is that not an appropriate calculation in trying to measure the distance of a star by, the light that we see from a star, why can we not use that rate of speed of light to calculate its distance?
If you see here, the alpha star is supposed to be at a distance of 4 times 728 billion yojanas. So it is almost like 3000. That means 3 trillion yojanas. The closest star to our sun is at a distance of 3 trillion yojanas. And our universe's internal radius itself is 250 million yojanas. And how can we see something outside of the universal shell? And when Bhagavatam says that we can't see anything beyond this mountain itself, this is the very practical limitation. We have a Loka mountain, the sun, moon, and stars, everything is within this mountain range. There is nothing outside this mountain. That's why the outside area is called as Aloka-varsha, and we cannot see that. For more details, we can refer to that pastime, Canto 10, Chapter 89. When Krishna was taking Arjuna on his chariot, they were moving from Bharata-khanda. They started from Dwarka. They went on, moving through all these things. When they came to Loka mountain, the horses could not go further. They stopped. Then Lord Krishna released his Sudarshan Chakra. It created a tunnel in this mountain. So in that tunnel, they moved on. And then it was completely dark in this area. Aloka-varsha, there is no sunlight. The horses could not go any further. Then Sudarshan Chakra went ahead. It created light all around. So the horses could go. Then the same Sudarshan Chakra created a tunnel or created a hole in the universal shell. Following that hole, they crossed through all the 7 layers of the universe. Then they entered into Brahman, where Arjuna and horses became blinded by that huge brightness. But later on, Lord Krishna kind of subsided that. Then they went little ahead. There they saw Mahavishnu lying on the causal ocean. So we need to take shelter of such kind of pastimes in order to understand what we can see, what we cannot see, where the things are situated, etc., etc. So it is like that. Bhagavatam and all the Puranas say that from Bharata-khanda, the pole star is only 3.8 million yojanas. It is very, very, very less, small distance, 3.8 million yojanas. The distance between the earth and sun is around 12 million yojanas. Bharata-khanda to sun. And the pole star is only 1/4 of that, 3.8 meter, it is almost 4. And our modern science say it is 433 light years. So I mean, you see the practical limitation where we are going wrong.
So the scientists are saying that, let me see, this, our closest, the star that's closest to our sun is a distance that's beyond the scope of the universe itself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So their calculation is really contradicting what appears to be practically possible, you're saying?
Yes, it is practically impossible.
Okay. Thank you. Just one other question is about the that pit where the most hellish people are thrown out. I think it's outside Loka mountain.
Yes.
So what is the relationship between that pit and the hellish planets, if any?
In the hellish planets, all the living entities, especially the human beings who performed somewhat normal sins, they are taken here and they will be punished here, and they will be again put into the cycle of transmigration, going through that 84 lakh species. But those people who does not want even to be rectified, who want to continue as a envious, demoniac, and they were said that they will be thrown out of this mountain and they will be thrown into this particular pit of darkness. Just like in our jail also, there are different kind of treatments, different levels of treatments. Some people who does not even cooperate with the jailer in order to rectify them, they are put into a dark cell for many, many years. Something like that we can understand. This is how the Madhva scholars actually talk about. They actually quote two verses from Bhagavad Gita chapter 16, where Lord Krishna says that I will throw those Asuric people into the deep, dark, hellish regions. So that they refer to this particular pit of darkness, quoting those two verses from Bhagavad Gita chapter 16. One of the couple of last verses.
Okay, so again, the ones who do not want to be rectified, they are the ones that go to the pit, or they are the ones who go to the hellish planets. I'm sorry.
No, they are the ones who go to this pit of darkness, Andatamas. Other people who knowingly or unknowingly perform sinful activities, they'll be taken here. They kind of put into rigorous punishment and they kind of change. They kind of transform.
Okay, those who, let's say, are not so unredeemable, do they hit that pit at all? Because it's difficult for me to follow your what you call it there, that pointer. I can't always see it. So
this is hellish planet. Here is the pit of darkness, somewhere here.
Yeah, okay. And the ones who are like unredeemable, they go there, right?
They don't go there. They were sent there.
No, I mean, that's what I mean. They're sent there. They're sent there. But
yeah, I mean, we don't have to discuss. We don't have to discuss too much about that. This is only some side information.
No. I was just trying to make this distinction between those who are sent there and those who are sent to the hellish planets. So those who are sent to the pit, those are the ones who don't want even to be redeemed at all. They're just like almost hopeless.
Yes, something like that. The Madhva translators say.
And the ones who go to the hellish planets, they are not so, incalcitrant, right? They're
maybe.
But there's no physical connection between the hellish planets and the pit of darkness, is there?
No direct connection. This pit of darkness is inside Garbhodaka ocean.
Yeah.
And this hellish planets is inside the Bhu-mandala.
It's inside the Bhu-mandala. Is because I thought it was only the lower planetary systems that are inside Bhu-mandala.
No, even this is also inside Bhu-mandala. We also mentioned about distance from here to here, 19,000 yojanas. We will discuss about it very elaborately in the 26th chapter. Maybe that time we can take these questions.
Okay, but anyway, I think I remember that the hellish planets are below the lower planetary systems, right?
Yes.
Okay. But and everything within Bhu-mandala.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Guru.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, there are some questions in the chat window, Prabhu. Can I read those, Prabhu?
Yeah, please read.
So thank you very much for this wonderful series of classes. Extremely grateful for you, to you, Prabhuji. This is Tarana Devi Mataji. And there is one question from Sarita Korel Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, such an amazing class you have been giving. Is there a day class we will also learn from you about what happens life after death?
What happens life after death? I think you have already studied this in chapter 30 and 31 of Canto 3. Chapter 30 talks about how a person goes through intense miseries during his life and during old age and the deathbed. After death, he will go to hellish planets, he will go through intense miseries, then he will get into different species, then he will get into the womb of new mother and he go through intense pain in that new mother's womb in chapter 31. So there you might have studied already. I mean, we are not going to discuss about all those things in our presentation. So for those who are interested, you can cross-check with those two chapters, chapter 30 and 31 of Canto 3.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you. Thank you very much. This is Rajeshri Mataji. Krishna's creation is also wonderful, and your pictorial exploration is also wonderful, drives clarity to understand. Dandavat Pranams, Prabhuji. And there is one, Taruna Radha Mataji has a question. My question is, when Brahma is born, why is there darkness prevailing everywhere? Won't the effulgence from Kshirodakshaya Vishnu light up the upper portion of the Brahmananda?
No, they actually, when the lotus comes out of the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, the upper portion of the universe becomes bright. Then on top of that lotus, Lord Brahma appears. So Lord Brahma could see himself, could see the lotus, but nothing else he could see. He could see the downward, the ocean is there, etc. Then in order to understand where is the source of this lotus and where is the source of himself, he goes into the tubes of that lotus, goes downward and tries to search out for the root of the lotus. He tries for 100 years, but he could not find. Then he comes to the top of the lotus, then he hears pa and pa. Then he understands that he need to perform tapasya. He performed tapasya, then he had darshan of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, then everything is revealed to him by Lord's mercy. So the darkness was there during the night of Brahma. But when the lotus appeared, the lotus is made up of 24 elements consisting of Mahatattva. And the nature of Mahatattva is to shine. The Mahatattva's characteristics are brightly shining. So because of that Mahatattva in the lotus, the entire area became bright as soon as the lotus came out.
Okay, Prabhu. Mataji also has one other question. Also, when Brahma is born, does this structure of Bhu-mandala along with the Loka mountain already exist, or does Brahma create all this?
There is a pastime mentioned in the Puranas. So, for example, the current day of Brahma, Bhagavatam chapter 13. So, chapter 10, chapter 12, chapter 20 talks about various creations by Lord Brahma. After various creations by Lord Brahma in chapter 12, at the end, there is a creation of Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa. In chapter 13, Swayambhuva Manu was ordered by Lord Brahma, so that, my dear son, please go and take care of the human beings. Then Swayambhuva Manu asks, so my dear father, where I will take care of the human beings? Then Lord Brahma says that, please go to Bhuloka and take care of them. Manu goes, but he did not find the Bhuloka or Bhu-mandala. Then he comes back and reports Lord Brahma. And he says that, my dear father, I could not find Bhuloka. I don't know where it has gone. Then Brahma goes into meditation and understands that he kind of divided that lotus flower, stem and the leaf into 14 planetary systems, and he became busy with creation of all the living entities such as 4 Kumaras, Rudras, 11 Rudras, and the 10 Manasaputras, Narada Muni, this person, that person, like that. He became busy. In the meantime, the entire Bhu-mandala fell into Garbhodaka ocean. So now there should be the retrieval of that Bhu-mandala. So Lord Brahma said, I cannot do anything on my own. Then he prayed to Lord Vishnu. Then Lord Vishnu appeared from his nostril as Lord Varaha, and he lifted the entire Bhu-mandala. And then on the other hand, sometime before, when Lord Brahma was sleeping, all the 4 Vedas in their personified form, they were actually moving around. Actually not sleeping. When Brahma came out of the lotus, when he was performing austerities on top of the lotus in order to get the mercy of the Supreme Lord, the 4 Vedas were moving around. Just like Brahma appeared on top of the lotus, similarly there are 2 demons appeared from the 2 water drops that fell from the lotus flower. They are known as Madhu and Kaitaba. And Madhu and Kaitaba stole the 4 Vedas, and that they went into the Garbhodaka ocean, they hid themselves. Understanding that Lord Brahma needs the 4 Vedas, Lord Vishnu appeared as Matsya. Then he went into the Garbhodaka ocean. He fought with Madhu and Kaitaba. He killed both Madhu and Kaitaba. He brought the 4 Vedas, and he took the form of Lord Haigriva, and he appeared from the yajna which Brahma was performing and gave the 4 Vedas to Brahma as Lord Haigriva. So, and then later on, by the request of Swayambhuva Manu, when Lord Varaha lifted the Bhu-mandala, the Bhu-mandala became almost melted, because since it is there in the Garbhodaka ocean for some time. So when we put earth block in the water, it starts melting. It became full of what we can say very soft. So Lord Varaha saw around. There is a Madhu and Kaitaba fell dead lifelessly. And the Purana say that Lord Varaha took the dead bodies of Madhu and Kaitaba and mixed them with the Bhu-mandala. And the Bhu-mandala became what we can say hard, and he placed it in its position. Then by the request of Lord Brahma and other devatas, Lord Varaha transformed himself and became Kurma. And Kurma was floating in the Garbhodaka ocean, and the Bhu-mandala was resting on the back of Kurma. So that was the series of pastimes that have been mentioned in the other Puranas. So one may think that, okay, what is this? Our Bhu-mandala is made up of flesh and bones of Madhu and Kaitaba. Actually, yes. The mud is there, but the mud is mixed with the flesh and bones of Madhu and Kaitaba. That's why we see somewhere stones, somewhere mud, or somewhere dust on the surface of the earth. So these are the series of pastimes that have happened at the beginning of the day of Brahma. This is how the creation goes on. But anyway, the Loka mountain are actually springing out from the Garbhodaka ocean itself. They are actually mountains made up of ice. So they have nothing to do with our Bhu-mandala. The Bhu-mandala which we are talking, only this portion, this part of the Bhu-mandala. These are all nothing but the extension of the Garbhodaka ocean. This is the mountain made up of ice only. So they are also created by Lord only, we can assume like that.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. So wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I have one question. Can I go ahead?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. It was really cleared a lot of doubts which we had over the different sessions for the past days. Will we be covering the different other khandas within the Bharata-varsha? Is there any information at all about it? Nothing. Okay.
No, we don't have any information. Only that picture we had from BhugolaVarnanam book, that gradually increasing in height, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, that much only. We have that much information only. We don't have other information. Maybe Vayupurana might be having some details. I have not gone through Vayupurana thoroughly. I just went through pick and pick wherever I wanted some information. I went through those portions only.
Okay, so since the Bharata-varsha is considered as Karma-bhumi, is it okay to think that the other different khandas are also maybe, part of the Karma-bhumi itself?
Yes, they are part of Karma-bhumi only. They are also like our earth.
Okay.
Maybe little difference here and there, but they are almost like our earth only.
Which have maybe life forms, and the same karma khanda might be going on there also.
Yes. Same principles, whatever we are observing here, are also kind of supposed to be there in other 8 islands of the Bharata-varsha.
Okay. One more last question, Prabhuji. With regards to our just Bharata-khanda, we have the actual India and the other continents, and will we be discussing more about them in the future?
No, we are not going to talk about any further details. We will be discussing about other places in the entire universe, the remaining 13 planetary systems. So for our Bharata-khanda, we just mentioned a couple of verses from Vishnu Purana that in the east there are kingdoms like Kalinga, Ostra, Magadha, and the south Maruka Malava. Maruka Malava corresponding to Kerala and Tamil Nadu, etc. Something like that. Only few details, not more than that. There could be some details mentioned in other Puranas, but that is not so much. Anyway, we know about all these places. There is no point in studying them.
Okay. No, I was just asking that. I was just asking this question in regards to all the pastimes, everything originating from our India. So
okay, that is a topic we are going to touch upon in the next slides. That topic only we are going to touch upon. We will discuss that tomorrow session.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Why all the pastimes happened here only. That will be addressed tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. There is one more question from Anand Vilas Das Prabhuji. Black holes mysteries also are the tunnels made by Sudarshana Chakra. Stephen Hawking wasted his life discovering. He should have surrendered to Lord Krishna simply.
Sorry, I don't know. I don't have anything to say on this.
I think that's all from the chat, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Prabhu, can you just remind me what this term Karma-bhumi means?
Sorry, can you repeat?
This term Karma-bhumi?
Karma-bhumi means the place where karma is considered to be most important way of what we can say. So when we write exam, the examiner will evaluate. So karma is the main aspect of evaluation of one's destiny in this Bharata-varsha. That's how it is Karma-bhumi. So whatever we do, every small activity is minutely observed, and based on that, our future destiny will be determined. So that is the specialty of this Bharata-varsha being a Karma-bhumi.
Okay, okay. And as you said, the other 8 khandas would fall into this category.
Yeah. So this is one of the reason Lord Krishna's dancing with the gopis is always kind of a subject matter of criticism. Even today also people criticize Lord Krishna why he is dancing with the wives of others. So for that, Sukadeva Goswami gives a simple answer. The Devatas, they may do such kind of contradictory activities, they may get away with it. Because Devatas' activities are not minutely scrutinized. They are beyond the scrutiny. They just by becoming Devatas, they are beyond the scrutiny. They can do all these small kind of things and etc. For example, the sun can evaporate water from a filthy place, but he will never become filthy. So Krishna is much beyond the Devatas. And how can we subject Krishna to ordinary mortal rules and regulations? He is dancing with the gopis who are the wives of others men. He is not at all subjected to, not supposed to be subjected to scrutiny. It is only through our material vision we see him like a ordinary human beings and we try to find fault with him. So that's how Sukadeva Goswami gives an example. So karma is seen in very scrutiny only here, not in other places. So it is like that. And for example, if you have heard pastimes from 9th canto, we see so many contradictory pastimes mentioned in the 9th canto. That moon is trying to beget a son with the wife of Brahaspati, Tara. So he begot son known as Buddha. So apparently, if you see, these devatas supposed to be setting a high example. How can they do this kind of activities? Apparently very bad. But in the devatas place, it is allowed. For example, when Arjuna goes to heaven, Urvasi says, so that I would like to have your association. But Arjuna says that you were the wife of Pururava in the past. And Pururava was one of my ancestors. And as a reason of that, you are like my one of the great grandmother. So I see you as my mother Kunti only. So the rules of the human beings are different. Then Urvasi said that we don't follow such kind of rules. We can associate with anyone and everyone without any restriction. That is the rule for the Apsaras. So don't deny my request. But Arjuna says that no, I belong to Bharata-varsha. I have some rules and regulations. I need to follow that. For me, you are my mother. So like that, there is complete distinction between the way they work, the way they act, the way they are observed in the heaven and in the Bharata-varsha. So this place is Karma-bhumi.
Yeah, so since you mentioned these other pastimes, it's reminding me of, I mean, I don't know this pastime well at all, but I've heard something like when Lord Brahma was, chasing after his own daughter or something, and it was like an example of, so much lust, yet he is not held to the same standard as those of us here, and so I don't know. What would you say there?
So actually later on Acharyas actually clarify that it is not that Lord Brahma becoming too lusty. Lord Brahma showing the result of completely immersing in the activity of creation. The activity of creation is too much passionate and a person becomes attracted to the result of one's activity. So for example, whatever we do, we become so much possessive of the result. I have done it, I will need to enjoy it. It is meant for my enjoyment. So Lord Brahma revealing that kind of mentality to that pastime. The same Brahma giving us that mentality later on married the same Vagdevi. the same person who is known as Saraswati. He married her eventually. That is only to display the mentality that is associated with the creative activities.
Yes, yes. But he did end up marrying that daughter, huh?
Yes, he did. Of course, for Brahma, there is everyone is his own creation.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, he cannot marry anyone, but he need to marry someone. Though he is his own creation.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. That was wonderful.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. There is one more question in the chat window, Prabhu. Sarita Mataji is asking Prabhuji one thing. When we read about talking about when someone dies at a daytime or night time, they go to Krishna Paksha or Sukla Paksha. Does it mean if a person is fully surrendered to Lord?
No, this is not talking about those people who are surrendered to Lord, those people who are practicing bhakti. Those verses which are talking about the path of light and path of darkness, that is for those people who are following the traditional yoga system, which Lord Krishna talks about in Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. Those people as a householder who practice Nishkama Karma Yoga, and then after accepting renunciation, that is Vanaprastha or Sannyasa who practice Jnana Yoga and then Ashtanga Yoga, and they give up their life by raising their prana from Mooladhara Chakra all the way up to Brahmarandhra and piercing to Brahmarandhra, then following the path of sun, they give up their life during Uttarayana time, during Shukla Paksha, during daytime, then following the path of sun, they attain to Brahman. That is for them. And for those people who are following Sakama Karma Yoga, they give up their life during Dakshinayana, during Krishna Paksha, during night time when smoke is around. Then the following the path of moon, they go to Pitruloka, they enjoy in the moon planet and they come back. That is for those people who are in the purview of Dharmartha Kama Moksha, not in the Bhakti. And the same chapter much earlier talks about how devotees give up their life and attain to spiritual world. They are being spoken little before that, all the way up to 22nd verse. From 23rd onwards, it talks about the path of light, path of darkness. That is for the traditional yoga ladder practitioners. Nishkama Karma, Jnana Yoga or Sakama Karma. There is a distinction between those two.
Thank you. Mataji, I think hope your answer, you got the answer, Mataji. If you have anything, you can please ask Mataji. Laltangi Mataji was talking about previous question. Yes, Prabhu, we read in the 9th canto, Buddha was born for Moon and Brihaspati's wife. I think that's what she was also mentioning.
Yes. So even though that contradictory thing we see in them, but we should not blame them. We cannot find fault with them. That is allowed for them.
Yes, Prabhu. Got it, Prabhu. Yeah, Mataji is saying thank you, Prabhu. So, yeah, I think if any, let me see if anybody has any raised hands or anything. Vamsidhar Gopal Prabhu, I see raised hand, Prabhu. I don't know if it was raised from before and you did not take it up, or if you still have a question.
No, Mataji, I asked my question, so that was from. Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
It's already 8 o'clock here and it might be late for you.
If we'll pay obeisance to thank you so much, Prabhu, such an enlightening class and really wonderful, Prabhu. We are so grateful to you and look forward for your class association, Prabhu, in the future. Let's pay our obeisance to the Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha pattanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. His Grace Pavaneshwar Prabhuji ki jai.
Jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Krishna.
Such a wonderful session, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you all. We'll end the call here. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow.